You're watching Rurouni K95's anime review on Super Dimension Fortress Macross. Hi Ruronis, this is your pal Rurouni K95 here. Today's anime review, once again to cover an 80s anime for today's anime review is Super Dimension Fortress Macross. Yep. Super Dimension Fortress Macross is an anime television series from 1982, according to story creator Shoji Kawamori. Depicts a love triangle against the backdrop of great battles during the first human-alien war. It is the first part of the two franchises, the Super Dimension series and the Macross series as well. So let's review Super Dimension Fortress Macross. Let's begin here. In 1999, a city-sized alien spacecraft crashes in South Ataria Island on Earth. Over the course of 10 years, the military organization UN Spacey Reverse engineers its technology and rebuilds the spacecraft and naming it the SDF-1 Macross. In 2009, at the launch ceremony of the Macross, a young civilian pilot, Hikaru Ichijo, comes to visit the Macross upon the UN Spacey pilot Roy Fokker's request. During the launch ceremony, a space war fleet from the alien race of humanoid giants arrives into the solar system and identifies the Macross as a former battleship used by their enemies. The Supervision Army, as the aliens known as the Zentradi, approach the Macross. The original systems override the crew's commands and fire its main cannon. Yeah. Wiping out the advanced alien scouts and starting a war. While Hikaru takes the new VF-1 Valkyrie on a test flight, the aliens retaliate. He then encounters Lin Minmay and rescues her from the aliens. Yeah. The Macross crew attempts to use the experimental fold system, faster than light of drives, to escape the moon's orbit, but instead it accidentally takes the Macross and South Atria Island to the edge of the solar system. The people from the Macross salvage everything they can, including the city surrounding the ships and its civilians, who have survived in special safety shelters, which are transported along intact. And attached to aircraft carriers to the ship, since the fold systems have vanished after the jump, the Macross is forced to make its way back to Earth by conventional power as well. The Zentradi suspect the humans' right to be their creators, the protoculture under the command of Britai Kredanik and Exodol Fulmo. They plot ways to understand them, fearful of their old combat directives of not interfering with protoculture. The Zentradi performs the attacks to test their theories about the people on board the Macross, and even their Zentradi soldiers miclone miniaturized to learn about their culture. The Zentradi capture several Macross personnel, including Officer Misa Hayase and Hikaru, to study, as you guessed it. Baudole Zer, Supreme Commander of the Zentradi, is puzzled over things such as relationships again amongst males and females. He confirms that the Myclones are protoculture during a demonstrated kiss between Hayase and Hikaru. You guessed it. After escaping, Hikaru and the others report their findings to their superiors, who have trouble accepting the reasons behind the Zentradi attacks, as well as the huge forces the aliens possesses as well. After much difficulty returning to Earth, the UN Spacey refuses to allow the Macross and the civilian passengers return to land. Minmay's cousin, Lin Kaifun, decides to join the Macross to see his parents and also look after Minmay. Because of Kaifun's relationship and constant contact with Minmay, the pair eventually enter a romantic relationship. After the deliberation, the UN Spacey orders the Macross to leave Earth as a means to get the Zentradi away from them. Yep. During all these events, A female Zentradi ace fighter pilot, Milia Falina, is my clone and attempts to assassinate Maximilian Genius, an ace UN spacey pilot. Attempting to kill him during a knife duel, Milia is defeated and falls in love with Max, and the two are subsequently married. Their wedding aboard the Macross is broadcast to the Zentradi as a message that aliens and humans can coexist, which is something you expected. Since the Zentradi's exposure to culture and to Lin Minmei's songs, some of them becoming eager to join the humans, believing the myclone contamination is becoming a threat to all Zentradi forces. Badal Zer orders his entire army to exterminate the human race and all those Zentradi previously exposed to human culture, because Birachai Kindanik was contaminated as well. As he works with the humans to defeat the main Zentradi forces as well. As the resulting battle culminates in the large-scale devastation of Earth, but the people of the SDF-1 survive. After Badal Zur is killed and his armada defeated, the surviving humans and their Zentradi allies begin rebuilding Earth. Speaking of which, by this time, 2 years after the end of the First Space War, the transition into the human ways become difficult to some Zentradi who can't stand the idea of a pacified life. Kravshera constantly incites conflicts towards the civilians. He repairs the damaged Zentradi warship to return his old ways and attacks the new Macross city built around the SDF-1 moments before the final Zentradi attack as well. You guessed it. Misa Hayase tells Hikaru Ichijo of her feelings for him and her decision to leave to space in a colonization mission to preserve human culture across the galaxy. Lin Minmei, who was left by Kaifun and now loves Hikaru, doesn't want him to leave to join the fight. However, Hikaru goes to defend the city anyway. Eventually, Quamzin is killed after a long emotional conflict between Hikaru. Finally decides to be with Misa and join the colonization mission, but the two remain good friends with Minmei in the end, as you guessed it, if you will. So that's my review on the plot about the anime series Super Dimension Fortress Macross. Yep, this anime series was directed by the anime director Noboru Ishiguro. You guessed it, which I'll get to that in just a moment here. Yeah, it was also produced by Shoji Kawamori as well, who is known for particularly his work, most significantly like The Vision of Escaflowne and other of his, and also Macross Frontier, as well as Earth Maiden Arjuna, as well as many of his most significant work he has been worked on in general. Yeah, and this anime series, Super Dimension Fortress Macross, is basically part of the Robotech series, which is under the Robotech Macross Saga series, as you guessed it. Because ironically, Robotech is an American-Japanese 85-episode adaptation of the three unrelated anime television series from three different fictional universes, which is created by Carl Macek as well. Because ironically, Super Dimension Fortress Macross is a part of the Robotech Macross Saga. And if you're a fan of Robotech as well, if you want to see... But I have to discuss particularly about the original Macross series, which is basically Super Dimension Fortress Macross, because this encapsulated over only 36 episodes from October 3rd, 1982 to June 26, 1983, especially for this particular anime series, like Super Dimension Fortress Macross particularly. I mean, speaking of which, for yeah, because this anime series was part of the adapted for the in the U.S. as the first saga for the Robotech series, because Robotech is particularly the early introduction to anime in the U.S. particularly. Yeah. In 1984, Harmony Gold licensed the first Macross series from Tatsunoko Productions and planned to dub the series on home video in 1985. Harmony Gold edited and rewrote the series with the Super Dimension Cavalry Southern Cross and Genesis Climber Mospieta Collective releasing them as Robotech to syndicate on a weekday television and to promote the Revell model line. Robotech's credits listed only on the English adaptation's production crew and two Tatsunoko producers. In 1999, Harmony Gold asserted it had exclusive rights to the distribution of the Macross television series and the right to create the authorized the sale of merchandise based on such series outside Japan, and began sending cease and desist letters to import toy dealers, temporarily barring Macross-related merchandise from North America at this point. I mean, the merchandise has been since imported again by the same toy dealers in the direct sales, and Harmony Gold has sub-licensed additional material for North America retail distribution as well. Yep. The series was originally licensed in North America, despite that, since we were getting an ADV films release on there. We did get a other first home DVD release on there. The series was originally licensed in North America by Animego, which is known for their DVD releases on the Urusei Yatsura anime TV series, as well as The Dagger of Kamui, Oh My Goddess OVA, and Bubblegum Crisis and Riding Bean, and other home video titles that are released by Animego, who restored the series and released it on an unedited on DVD with Japanese audio and English subtitles. At first, a limited time pre-order box set across 9 discs was released on December 21st, 2001. Pre-orders were available on Animego's web store. 3 smaller box sets, each comprising 3 discs, were released from September 10th, 2002. And finally, Animego has released 9 individual volumes as well, which is probably until ADV Films announced that they would be releasing the English dub for Macross on January 10th, 2006 as well, for this particular anime series as well. But I know this anime series, particularly Super Dimension Fortress Macross, was premiered in 1982, particularly around the same time as Urusei Yatsura, The Kabocha Wine, and Tokimeki Tonight, and Space Avenger Cobra, particularly around the same time when it comes to 80s anime. But ironically, Super Dimension Fortress Macross is basically the original anime TV series, which is probably the original Japanese version, before it was dubbed into English and it was edited, which is part of the 85-episode anthology anime TV series adaptation which is part of the Robotech series, which is part of the saga, because Super Dimension Fortress Macross is particularly Macross Saga, which is part of the Robotech series as well. Yep. If you're a fan of but I had to discuss about the original Super Dimension Fortress Macross series, because ironically, Robotech is particularly the anime's introduction to the US in the 80s as well, which was brought over to the US. If you haven't seen Super Dimension Fortress Macross, I highly recommend you to watch it, either Robotech Macross Saga version or the original Japanese version with English subtitles as well. So that's going to be it for my anime review on Super Dimension Fortress Macross for today's anime review. Thank you for watching, but before we go, here's my thoughts on this. It's been a while since I watched this on DVD that I borrowed from the library, which is particularly under Macross Saga, which is part of the Robotech series. I might as well rewatch this series again at one point, but in the original Japanese with English subtitles at one point, because it's good for a rewatch. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Hope to subscribe for content. My anime plan link in the description down below. You can share this video on your Twitter, Facebook if you have Twitter, Facebook account, and all social media. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up by clicking on the like button on this video. Feel free to leave in the comments in the comment section below on the series. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, RuRoniK95. Feel free to join my channel, especially if you're new to my channel. Hit the notifications bell button. Be sure to get notified and keep it otaku for this anime review. And I got another anime review coming up next. What I have here. Stay tuned for my next anime review because today is Thanksgiving. Stay tuned for my next anime review on Moribito, Guardian of Spirit. Stay tuned for my next anime review on Moribito, Guardian of Spirit, because you won't want to miss another anime review.